Hey everyone, welcome to Saturday Night Popcorn. This is Jason.
And this is Kai, and we have another great discussion for you today. The movie of the day is Office Space. Uh, it's it's old now.
Right? I know.
24, 23, 24. But still want to give everyone a spoiler warning,
Yeah,
just in case
just
you
in
haven't seen
case.
it.
Just in case you have not seen Office Space from 1999. Ooh, man, I was 9 years old. But and it was directed by Mike Judge, the person that brought us Beavis and Butthead.
King of the Hill. What do you
Yeah, King of
mean?
the Hill too, right?
That was my show when I was a little kid. I should not have been watching that show.
I watched a lot of Beavis and Butthead than King of the Hill, which is interesting. But I know, and then also uh we probably weren't supposed to be watching
Definitely not.
it.
I was not allowed to watch Beavis and Butthead. I need to go back and watch it now, but that was
Yeah,
one
there's
that was
sometimes
like
I watch it
forbidden.
and I'm like, this is too funny. But yeah, Office Space. This was uh Kai and I were joking around right before we record that like this is like the epitome of like probably what people think about their jobs nowadays, where it's like
Yes.
I just want more money, but I want to do nothing. Like
Yes.
just want to sit around and do nothing.
Let me
But
sit back, kick my feet up, drink Mai Tais, whatever.
right, yeah, which is as a spoiler warning, that is how it ends for Little Milton.
Hey, I think
But
Milton had the best outcome out of this entire movie.
I think so. And I guess it's like you always have questions on your end. One of the questions I had where it's like, all right, the like the thing that they stole the money with, did that end? Like, did they like not have any more money after that because of it? Like because of the fire? And
So
that's why I was like a
yeah,
little
I don't know.
confused
That
by that.
confused me because he wrote the check, he slid the check under his boss's door. Milton was the only one that went in that office. So I kind of think Milton kind of snagged the check.
He did say that because I remember when he was like mumbling to himself at the end, he says, I will go use my like cashier's check somewhere else. And isn't that what he
Yeah,
like
because he
slid
he
on the
hadn't been
door?
getting paid for months. Yeah,
That's
that was
true,
exactly what he
right?
said
Like,
on the
yeah.
door.
How was he able to pay for a vacation with not getting paid for months?
Yeah, he hadn't been paid for months. That was the that was I felt so bad for him. They were like, yeah, we fired him, but he just keeps showing up. But
And
we
no one
fixed
told
the
him.
issue, so he's not going to get paid, but he's going to continue to show up.
And then they
It's like,
continue to
dude,
like
how
place him down into the dungeon of
didn't they want him to get the cockroaches?
cockroaches, and then he leaves
Was it rats or cockroaches?
I think it was cockroaches, but he leaves his freaking plate of cake right there. And I'm like, you're the reason why that probably
Oh
cockroaches
my
are there.
that cake scene is so funny.
Oh
Milton,
man.
you need to pass it to everyone else. And he
I would have
just
left.
doesn't get a
I would have
piece.
grabbed one and left. Like, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Just grab one and leave. Who cares? Like, deal with
Yeah,
it later.
exactly. You guys will figure out who gets one and who doesn't.
Right?
Like,
And then
because that
then
last
what
lady was supposed to pass hers to Milton,
yeah, and
and
why
she
are you
kept
cutting
it.
your cake that like that big that like there's like a dozen,
Huge chunks of cake.
right?
Like, lady, it's 2 p.m. Like, I'm gonna be wired for the rest of the night. Like, come on.
I know, right?
Like, what are
Like
you
I'm not getting anything
doing?
done for the next like hour or like few hours of work.
Straight sugar crash
Yeah, that
instantly.
happens. That
And
happens all the time. It's like when they feed us when we were kids, they fed us at school, and then we never did anything after that. And then even at
oh
work,
yeah,
sometimes like
pizza
when they have
parties.
like yeah, pizza parties, man, or we had like ice cream parties too. I'm like, I don't even know how we survived.
Oh man, like during Christmas time, I don't remember doing anything other than having parties. Like, oh, we're
Yeah.
having movies and we're doing pizza, and then we're doing eggnog or hot cocoa. Like, we didn't get any work done during Christmas in
Well,
middle school and like
the
elementary
the
school.
learning was the rapport and friendships that we built with her.
All the cuddling you used to do and the little blankets they gave you.
Of which I don't talk to anybody from my elementary school.
I don't. Oh goodness, I don't either. I've moved around so many times. I don't even know where those people are anymore.
I went to elementary school with a bunch of my cousins, so I do talk to them. So, but a bunch of my family members went to the same elementary school, but I don't know. I probably should think back of whether or not I still see some, but that's a that's a tangent.
I actually didn't have any questions. Like I'm
No,
looking up, I barely any notes because it was just so it. This movie's from 1999, but it's everything is still relevant now. So I'm like watching
definitely.
it, like, yep, the traffic. You think you're getting in the correct lane, and then that lane slows down, but then you want to get back over, and it's just chaos, just trying to get to work. No
That
one on
is
the road wants to get there.
I remember growing up in the Bay Area and driving over the bridges and stuff and like being stuck in traffic and it's like you're there, you're like, all right, that lane's moving. I'm gonna scoot into that lane and then
Yep,
it's like, nope, it's just that now
dead
as a
stop.
more seasoned adult as I want to say, I just stay in my lane and I'm just gonna stay there.
I was so as you know, the listeners won't know, but I just had to drive down to get a haircut this morning, and driving back home on the highway 101 at 10 a.m. there were so many cars, and uh I felt like one of the characters in this movie because I'm like, oh,
Though
that lane
he's
looks
like
like it's
shaking
zooming.
his, oh, I thought he was like shaking his steering wheel.
No, 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 no. I just kept like switching lanes, like, okay, I can get over here and I can go a little faster, and then the person ahead of me would slow down. I was like, this should not take this long to get home.
Yeah,
It's like, just get
especially
me
on a
home.
Saturday too, where it's
Yeah,
like,
Saturday morning. Like, go to bed, people.
I know, just go
Go
home,
home,
go
relax.
back in bed.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can kind of go into what we liked.
Mhm.
I like um the story is was very relevant, and like you said, it's still relevant now in terms of, but
Mhm.
like what he does as a job, where like he explains to Jennifer Aniston's character when they're having like a lunch where he does this menial task because like people that were coding the early websites and programs in the 1990s and the early internet, they wanted to be douchebags and not put four numbers for the date but two and everything,
Yeah.
and so that was the whole like 2000 millennia crisis where everyone just thought like everything was gonna crash and just like we go into an apocalypse style era of
Turn
like
into
Mad
Wally.
Max and
Yeah, everything turns into Wally or Mad Max.
yeah, so and so he is one of those individuals that has to go into the code and type out 1999 and not 99, and so it's just that menial task, and it was very relevant to that. And I just wonder, like, Mike Judge's kind of like writing,
Yeah.
like, did he add that in when he was like making the movie? Because it's like this came out in 1999, so you would expect maybe
Probably
he
filmed it in
filmed it in
98.
1998. Yeah, but
Yeah.
like
Wrote in
was
97. Like,
97, yeah, so like 3 years before the whole like 2000 switch over, like was that already something being talked about? And then when like no one really dealt with it until they got to like 1999 at the very end of 1999. It's like,
like
shit,
we
we
should
got to do
probably
it now.
fix this.
We're gonna lose all
Like,
our money.
ooh.
But
It's crazy to
go ahead.
yeah, it's crazy to think like how big of a like not fiasco, but how big of a situation that was at the time. Like just going from 99 to 2000, people thinking like the world was gonna end.
Yeah. Or like the whole thing we're like, oh, like, did we forget to tell computers that there's a two? It's like, well, they knew there
Like,
was a nine before, so what are you doing?
exactly. Like I think the computers are smarter than us. I think we're
Yeah.
good.
I think we're finding out now with AI. Yes, computers are very much smarter than us.
Oh yeah. I loved I guess I'm just repeating what I already said, but I just love the realities of like corporate life that they showed in the movie.
Yeah.
Like the certain thing you can't really speak your mind at work to a certain extent around certain people. Uh, but then when he got hypnotized and he was just saying whatever came to his mind, and they were like, "Oh, we love this guy." It's like I don't think that's how it actually works, but I like that they're kind of playing that way.
Or
The Michael Bolton, like the continuous Michael Bolton jokes were hilarious.
I like how he's like, how about like his buddy behind him was like, how about you change it to Mike? He's like, no, I'm the first Michael. He's the douchebag that sucks at music. He should change his name.
I love that. That was too good.
I
And then Milton. Yeah, I love Milton throughout the whole movie.
Oh yeah, Milton, and it's like you barely understand what the hell he's saying, but like
Yeah.
you understand what he's feeling and what he's going through.
Hmm.
But in terms of like corporate life, it's like it's funny where it's like I think there's like a subreddit on Reddit that I look at where it's like it's sad but true or
Hmm.
sad but funny, where it's like you watch this movie and it's like I don't know if anybody has worked in kind of like an office scenario like that where like you kind of do just like a very specific task and then the next person next to you does a very specific task and then having those like little nuances of like oh like can you play your radio like at this certain like level, can
Oh
you wear
yeah.
headphones, or the person that is the one that's answering the calls like they typically like for like efficiency like you answer a call like exactly like the way the person's answering the call and stuff. So
Hmm.
it's like it's repeatable. And so, but it gets and
It's
it's very
mind
draining
numbing.
because it's like
Yeah.
everything's the same color, like it's all like this brown or like grays and gray
Hmm.
carpet and stuff. And so it does get very draining and especially with the cubicles too, where it's like you can see some light above the cubicle, but it's like what is that? Is that the fluorescent light or is that actual sun? But
No,
it
but I
still happens
love
today.
yeah, the funny thing now though is they got rid of cubicles to a certain extent and made it an open office feel. But all they did was lower that main dividing wall so you have less privacy.
Yeah.
Like now that main like that middle wall is sometimes glass, so you're like looking over and seeing the other person eating their lunch or eating a snack or picking their nose. So you have less private. It's weird. It's like they try to make it more open so everyone feels like, oh, hey, there's people around me. We can speak. But now you can just see everything that that person is doing. It's
Now you
like
can't
I
just
don't
stare
want to.
off into space too.
Yeah, you can't just zone out. It's like,
Well,
okay, why is this person doing this right now? I
yeah,
shouldn't
it
be
almost kind of
watching this.
adds more oversight from your
Yeah.
leadership too, because it's like, well, we can see exactly what the hell you're doing in that
Hmm.
cubicle.
It's like you should probably stop that. We can all see you.
But I don't know. For me, it was funny. Like the cast of characters were spot on, and it's like,
Oh
and
yeah.
I think the like talking about like this whole month, we kind of decided to like look at like kind of like 90s comedy or something movies and stuff, and the delivery of some of the like kind of like jokes within this movie were much better in terms of like how everyone just kind of delivered all their jokes and kind
Hmm.
of like the two consultants coming in and
Oh
trying to hide
goodness.
that they're not going to lay off a bunch of people.
Freaking Dr. Cox.
Right. I feel like he's a very good character and he like he
Yeah.
knows how to like use his presence by like just being able to like hide and then talking to the leadership of the company be like no we're just gonna throw out these people like this guy doesn't work here anymore, this guy doesn't get paid anymore but he's still coming in and stuff. It I think the delivery of all these jokes was like a a step above than most of the other ones. Like where it was like the other movies that we watched were like slapstick kind of
Yeah.
comedy, where this was like it was nuanced and everything. And like his buddy next door, the fisherman and the construction guy that he ends up like working in the construction field.
Yeah.
That guy was hilarious. And the handlebar mustache was just like, and then he's
Oh
like
my
talking
goodness.
through like,
Through the wall? Like,
yeah,
goodness gracious.
yeah. But the this was like I don't know, like we talk about like in terms of like the the
That
90s
scale.
movies,
Mhm.
like the 90s movies that like are different. And so this one's like you can tell this one's kind of like more kind of like Mike Judge put his like thoughts into it and everything.
Yes. He did a really good job with this one.
Yeah, it's funny. It that you can go from Beavis and Butthead and do a full-fledged movie like this.
So I just looked up Milton's character or like the actor that played Milton. I
Hmm.
don't know why I got him and Rip Thorn mixed up, but the guy that plays Milton's name is Stephen Root. He also played Gordon in Dodgeball, which Dodgeball is one of my favorite movies. And he basically is playing Milton, just with the dodgeball in his hand that can speak a little better.
It's funny when you recognize who that guy is, you start to see him everywhere. He's also in Barry. I
Yeah, I
don't
just
know.
saw I
Yeah,
see that on here too. Yeah,
yeah. We Patty and
I
I, my
forgot
my
about that.
girlfriend, love Barry, and he's like this like, and you see him in other things. You're like, oh crap, is that the Milton guy from Office Space?
It's like, wait, he can actually speak? Like, oh,
He doesn't wear like bottle cap freaking eyeglasses that like are like
you
magnifying
know
glass.
his head was hurting at the end of every
Oh my
scene.
god, yeah,
Because
I
my
hope
head was hurting looking at him. I'm like, dude, how?
that. But it's funny in seeing like the cast of characters. We have what probably a Jennifer Aniston that's coming off a few years of Friends,
Yeah.
right?
I
So
don't think so. That's one of my dislikes. Like, I like that they kind of showed the corporate life and then the corporate life of being in an office and then the corporate life of working at a restaurant, if that's even corporate. But just the nuances of just like how much BS of being a waitress or waiter has to be.
mhm.
But her character didn't really do anything in the movie. She was kind of just there.
Well, that's why
So
at the end of the credits it said and Jennifer Aniston as
just
but
at the very, very end.
yeah, in terms of my like one of my dislikes, in terms of like to like nitpick it, I think it was the movie was much longer than you expect and stuff, and I think
Mm,
like adding in the little kind of like story elements that like him dating the girl,
that was unnecessary.
it's net. I don't know. I think it's necessary, but I think you yeah, like adding in her experiences as like working in the restaurant and stuff. I guess it's like just to to kind of like
Like break things
encapsulate that
up.
like everyone deals with that, where it's like everyone always has someone above them until you become that person that is telling your subordinates, as
Of what to do.
most workplaces talk about, where it's like when you when like the whole like the consultants kind of like talking about like, oh, we're gonna promote you, we're gonna like he uses his fingers like we're gonna put four people under you. And it's like that was like the thing that you worked for. But I don't know, I think having more focus where it's like it's his like company, him working in his company and stuff, and more about like the scam that they're going to be pulling off and everything.
Oh yeah.
um
Yeah, because they were really subtle about that. They kind of start touching on it and then they pulled off the scam and then Milton got all that money and then the movie ended.
Yeah, right. And they have the little conflict of like the conflict between the main character and that the Jennifer Aniston's character, but then also them thinking about they're going to prison and stuff, and like
Oh
there's
yeah.
the funny part of them asking the lawyer like prison like is prison cool, man? But I think that's like my only thing where it's like for me I was watching it, I was like I've seen this movie before and a long time
Hmm.
ago, but and I
Same, yeah.
enjoy it and I laughed and it was enjoyable, but I still think I was like, man, this movie's a lot longer than you think.
Mhm.
And is it because like there's a little bit extra kind of fluff to it?
I think
Could
yeah, they
be,
had to add that fluff in. The cake
maybe.
scene, the
Yeah, well,
restaurant
it's like,
scenes. Jennifer
yeah.
Aniston's coworker is a complete douche.
Oh, that guy, yeah, the one that has like 36 something things of flair.
37 freaking flare
37.
pieces, dude.
Yeah.
What? Like, get out
that
my
that
face, dude.
that reminds me of that other movie Waiting for with
Oh, I
Ryan
love
Reynolds.
wedding.
Isn't that
Yeah.
like isn't that movie called or the restaurant called Shenanigans?
Shenanigans. Yep.
Yeah, and then there's also I don't know if you ever seen Super Troopers and they're
Yeah.
Marva and everything. They're like, hey, what restaurant? And the guy was like, whoever says Shenanigans one more time, I'm gonna punch him in the face.
There's me
But
yowling and oh my goodness.
I don't
Lita
know.
Cola.
Do you do you see any more like like or like
No, I think they did a really good job. I was really I think I was just more stuck on the fact that how well they hit corporate life in the movie that everything else was kind of just there. I wasn't worried about the little extras that they added in.
yeah, Yeah, and it's sadly a lot of times when you're like kind of down and out in your job and stuff, and I think everyone has experienced a job that like makes them react the way that the main character in Office Space reacts, where it's like every day is the worst day of my life until the next day and stuff. But it's just because like the monotony and it
Yeah.
becomes true where it's like a lot of people nowadays, that's why you see like a lot of like argument for like work life balances and everything. And because like one time I held a salaried position, and immediately my parents was like, oh, you're salaried, so you're gonna be working all the time, like you're gonna have to get your job done no matter how much it is and stuff. And then but it just becomes where it's like we're not built to be sitting in front of a screen all day. We're not, even though he says that, but he's playing like video games and stuff, and he's like, it's like we're built to sit in front of a screen that we like, that we
Hmm.
want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it becomes a very. I think this movie will never get old. It's
No,
funny
no,
enough.
no.
Yeah, it's
And
the
things aren't going to
story.
change in corporate. Like it's got to be the same.
Yeah, and until you get like he talked about where it's like you have like eight bosses and they all come around to tell you the same thing that you did wrong. Now it's
Hmm.
going to be an AI assistant that's going to tell you, hey, like, did you know that there's a TPS memo that went out today? And so like that's going to be like the most annoying thing where it's like, oh, it's a robot telling me to. I don't know, but did what did you end up rating this movie?
Um, I've thought about lowering it, but I'm not going to. I gave it a 4.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
see. It's funny. I gave it a three, but I was gonna give it a 3.5. I was like in the
Hmm.
middle of the movie, and I was like, man, it's like a 3.5 right here
Yeah.
and everything. And then I was pretty confident in it. And then when I ended the movie, and I don't know if I thought too much of like, oh, like that was a lot longer than I thought. I don't
Hmm.
know, but I gave it a three, and I was like, all right, I feel happy. And maybe if I
Yeah.
rewatch it again, and if I laugh the same amount and stuff, then a 3.5. But I don't even know what's the average on Letterbox.
Oh, I
Uh,
don't know.
Average on Letterbox is 3.8, and
Okay. So
so yeah,
4 almost.
which is I like to do that. We use this app called Letterbox and stuff, and we input what we watch and stuff, especially for this podcast. We input and we kind of give it a rating. But like in terms of the Letterbox community, it kind of averages out what people believe this movie is. Yeah, 3.8 is not is pretty good for a comedy too. Like where Kai says that he has like a threshold of, or like starting off at a three and then kind of
Yeah.
going everywhere from there for that. But
For comedies, at least.
yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
comedies at least and everything. But this was an enjoyable movie. I was able
Yes.
to watch it for free, which is nice too. You can watch it on like
It's on Hulu.
yeah, I was like, it was on Hulu.
Yeah.
I was like, I checked on Amazon first, and Amazon was like, "Do you want to watch it with ads?" I'm like, "No,
No.
I want
What?
no interruptions of my movie."
That is so annoying.
Yeah.
You're just like super, you're into the movie, and then a perfect scene happens. It's like, oh, here's an ad. Buy Domino's. It's like, no.
Yes, I'll buy it later, but
Exactly. Let me enjoy my movie first, and then I'll go get pizza.
it's funny. Yeah, we talk about like I hate that like there's like we watch movies sometimes with like advertisements, but all throughout Office Space, I got up, I was like pausing the movie to go get a snack and everything, go get a drink, and so I probably did that like 4 or 5 times.
But this is one of the ones you can do that to. It's not when you have to truly focus on.
No, I'm pretty sure if you probably left it on and walked away for a minute and came back,
You
you'll
wouldn't miss
still know what
anything.
the hell is going on. Yeah.
Yeah. You just see Milton crying about
Yeah,
his stapler. Like you'll be
right.
fine.
Like even if you came in and you're like, "Oh shit, the building's on fire," you would probably come to the conclusion it was Milton.
Honestly, yeah. Milton was a disgruntled worker. He finally got fed up and did something about it. He got his check first, though. He made sure he
Yeah,
got that check
yeah.
first.
He did what everyone else was thinking. He's the only one that had the balls to do it.
Exactly.
But would you buy this for your movie collection, Office
I
Space?
would. Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
would. I think it would be one of the ones I would watch every like at least once a year, every few months, just to laugh and be like, yeah. That's how it is.
Yeah, I think so too. Where it's like it's a classic. I think there's like
Yeah.
no doubt about it. Unless people nowadays, like people that don't grow up, that didn't grow up kind of watching this as like a young kid or something. Like even though like it's funny, I probably watched this when I was a kid and had no clue about the corporate life other than my
It's
probably
like,
my
what is
dad.
it?
Probably my dad telling me like, yeah, that's how it is. It sucks and
That's the
everything.
struggle.
But yeah, we had no clue. But it was funny back then,
Yeah,
and it's still funny now. But yeah, I totally like. I think no matter what, you can't have a movie collection without Office Space
I
sitting inside of
agree.
it and everything. It's kind of I should mess around with the I follow the Criterion Collection subreddit. I should be like, when is Office Space going to be added to the Criterion?
This should be the next movie in your
Yeah,
collection.
yeah. Come on, I want like a 4 disc set. I want it in Blu-ray, 4K.
All the short films,
Yeah,
everything.
I want Milton's character narrating with this
I want a
mumbling
poster of
style throughout.
Milton. Give me a custom stapler. Like, give me all of it.
All right, if we get a call from Criterion saying that's a perfect idea, we get 1% of all sales.
You two are geniuses.
But but yeah, any last words about Office Space?
I think it's one that if you've worked in corporate, you should check this movie out
Yeah,
just to have a good
definitely.
laugh.
Just to have a good laugh, probably be a little sad about yourself,
Yeah.
but as the story ends, it's like just be happy about doing what you do and stuff and
And
get
maybe you'll
paid.
find a check on the ground
Yeah,
and go
you
on
never
vacation.
know. And then go
Yeah.
on vacation and still complain about it on vacation.
Yeah.
But but all right, Kai, you want to take us out?
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Saturday Night Popcorn. I'm Kai.
And I'm Jason, and we'll be back next week for another one.